Hey guys, it's James.Fluellen with another episode of the Success Agent Podcast, where we interview top leaders, broker owners, influencers, and just really cool people. And today we've got a special guest. This has been going on for about 2 years to try to get him on the show. We've got Adrian Cruz, who's in the house, well, virtually anyways.
Yo.
And it's gonna be good. We're gonna talk about some stuff that you guys are probably all been thinking about, and it's basically real estate investing. Because if you're a real estate agent and you're not real estate investing, then you're missing out. Because obviously we see deals all the time that we're like, man, I wish I could buy that deal, and then we're like, nah, I'm just going to call Adrian instead and have him buy this deal. So it happens all the time. I got into real estate investing 14 years ago, and, just decided I was going to buy one property a day, or not a day, I wish a day, but one property a year. And then
nice.
Some years we bought two. And so now we have a pretty decent portfolio. And what's cool about Adrian is he's just been doing this just a little over 2 years, and he's got a fantastic story to tell. So, Adrian, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you ended up in Cheyenne, and then how you kind of progressed from doing other things into now doing real estate investing.
So I actually moved to Cheyenne in high school. So I moved here my senior year. And then, I was just, working at restaurants. I worked at Red Lobster for 3 years serving. And then after that, I got into the car business and started selling cars. I actually started flipping cars on the side too. So then I kind of knew what it was going to take. Buy low, sell high, just like you do with anything. And I wanted to do that with real estate. So I started doing that with real estate about 2 years ago, a little bit more than 2 years. And then here I am, flipped over 30 houses in Cheyenne, and life is good.
That's crazy, man. So
yeah.
So everybody wants to know, like, when you're getting really super grainy with real estate investing, because a lot of people, they say, yeah, I'm a real estate investor, and they're like, oh, how many deals have you done? And they're like, dude, I'm just, I'm YouTubing right now. I'm just YouTubing stuff. I bought some programs, So how did you what was your big kickoff point? Because I know when we first met, you were still slinging cars, and so what was that jumping off point where you're like, dude, I just got to do something different?
Well, so funny story. Actually, like I said, I was flipping cars in the car business. At the time, I bought a house low when I was in the car business. So I actually found this lady for sale by owner on Facebook Marketplace. And she was like, yeah, I'm ready to sell my house fast. And I had already been looking for a house at this time, right? Like I knew what the house prices were, right? So when I saw this lady post this house, 180,000 in this like really desirable neighborhood, right? And I was like, holy cow, like this is a great neighborhood. I know this house is worth 245 all day long. So that's exactly what happened. I ended up getting it under contract at 180, and then 3 or 4 months later, I ended up selling a house, and I got a big chunk of change. And I was like, holy cow, I just made this much money from selling this house. If I can get better at finding good deals and do this more than at least once a year, right? Making 30, 40 grand, I'm like, this is it, it's game over. Because I literally just did that. I bought it off Facebook, found a good deal, resold it in 3 or 4 months, made a ton of money in one half a year I made in the car business, right? And I was like, holy cow, like this is it. I can do this. Like I literally just did it. So that's when I went full on, and I was like, if I can get good at finding deals, then it's game over.
Right. Because the big thing about salespeople is you get that sales rush, right?
Right. Yeah. It's like a high.
And it's like, and especially like when you're at the closing table and you're like, hopefully this thing doesn't fall apart,
Yeah, exactly.
You're like,
Yeah.
could you sign that quicker? You know, but
Yes.
no, but yeah, no, dude, I've been doing sales since I was 8 years old, man. I was slinging papers and trying to grow my paper route, you know, back in
That's
the
awesome.
day, doing door knocking and all this crazy stuff in the snow in North Dakota. Like, dude, I know the grind and I know the rewards. It's crazy how fun it is to
It's super
know
fun.
that you're not only just helping someone because you obviously she was okay with 180. Like she knew
Right. Like
that,
she needed to get rid of it, right? And it
yeah,
was her choice. It's not like we tell people and we screw people over. It's literally we give them the options and they choose that, right? Like, and she marketed it that way, and people do it all the time. Like they choose the easy route because they don't want to do the work,
right.
right? Her house needed a little bit of work. The kitchen needed redone. The bathrooms needed to be redone. So she was like, okay, cool. Like I know this is only worth this, but I saw like potential, right? I was like, okay, cool. Like I can flip this for this,
Yeah.
right? So that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, I don't see those
Um,
deals on Marketplace anymore, but
no, they're long gone for sure. I mean,
right.
it's hard to get them now. Deals are getting harder to find.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things in this business too is that the hustlers will survive. As long
100%.
as you have an abundance mindset, there's no, more than enough deals to do. So that's what's really cool about the real estate business is that there's always new houses coming on the market, and there's always people moving, coming and going out of the area. And this is true for anybody listening that's in our national audience that's thinking about getting into real estate. If you give value, you'll get value, and that's so huge in this business, and people will look up to you by providing value. Uh,
Exactly.
so walk us through, so you got this first deal and you're like, I'm done with the car business. Is that what it was? You're just like, I'm out. This is just
I'm
ridiculous.
out.
Keep doing
I'm
this.
out. I'm doing this full time. Yep.
Right.
Started
Right.
my LLC and just went full ham on marketing and started cold calling people, knocking on doors, whatever it took. I
Yeah.
was like, man, where's my next deal coming from, right? And yeah, I spent a lot of that money in marketing and ended up working out well. Took the
So
risk and just did it.
marketing, like a lot of people, like it's not like you're going on Facebook and people can see Adrian Cruz sponsored ads, right? That's not the kind of
Right.
marketing
No,
you're
that's
doing,
not
right?
me.
so what's
Right.
so walk us through just like what is marketing, like what does that look like?
For me
Yeah.
or just in general?
Well,
For me,
because what I know about, because we're in a small market, and so Adrian's
right.
local, so I know small market marketing is way different than big city marketing, where you can send out 10,000 mailers, and then people are going to just call you out of the blue, or um, there is some Facebook involved, but what I found in small markets is the ones that you're trying to target, uh, the Facebook ads aren't nearly as effective. So,
Right.
what's the true grind, dude? Like, what does it really take?
So I do it all pretty much. Like people ask me all the time, like, like if there was one marketing channel that you would do, which one would it be? And I always tell them like, there's not one. Like you got to be pretty much everywhere, right? You got to be at the gym. Like I see you at the gym, like with your ads, right? I'm on there too, right? I'm on the radio station. I'm in your mailbox. I'm in your cell phone. I am in your social media. I'm on Google. So you pretty much have to be like everywhere, wherever they go and look, you're there, right? You cruise around the streets. I'm in my car and you'll see me, right? I'll have my signs outside, right? You turn on the radio, I'm here, right? So you pretty much have to be everywhere. In a small market like this, also what really helps is to do good business, right? Like to have that word of mouth. Because a lot of my business now is referrals. Like, hey, like there's this Adrian guy, like he's awesome, right? Like call him up. So that is like pretty much most of my business comes from now is pretty much referrals. So if you do good enough business, then you will eventually get those good referrals, right? And this is a referral business, right? We're in the real estate market, local market, so you do have to rely on that referral business. So that's what I pretty much, I mean, that's probably my number one. If I were to pick all of them, word of mouth and doing good business in town for sure really comes in handy.
And if you're listening and you're like, yeah, we've heard that all from all the gurus before, I will just tell you firsthand, Adrian is the real deal. And he does actually walk the walk and talk the talk. We were sitting at Sanford's. We went out to lunch last week, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm James.Fluellen, people know me, and I'm like sitting there and people are just walking up and you're like, you're that guy that buys houses, right? And I'm like, dude, what? And he's like, you came to my house. So he is actually out there hitting it, pounding the pavement and knocking on doors, like the true grind of what
Every
it takes
day.
to get this business done. So,
Yes, sir.
it's truly about the hustle, and about your willingness to become better than who you are today so that you can invest in the person who you want to be tomorrow. And that's just
Absolutely.
crazy, dude. It's crazy. So, this is not an easy game, but it is a really fun game for sure.
Super fun for sure.
So tell us about your first, like, everybody wants to know about, everybody's like, yeah, you can do the ones that are okay. Tell us about what, like a bad deal that you did.
Oh man. So actually one of my first big rehabs, I ended up losing $30,000 on, roughly like $30,000. I bought it too high. I was in a rush. I just needed a deal, right? Like to work on something. For one, I bought it too high. Two, I hired the wrong contractors. I literally had like 4 or 5 different crews in the house,
Oh man.
like going in there, and then they don't show up the next day and I have to fire them, right? Um, I had no like systems, right? I was just like pretty much flying blind, no systems intact. Money was just like, I was just dumping money. I wasn't keeping track, any of that, right? Like the whole 9 yards, like I wasn't doing any of it. I was pretty much just, yeah, I went through contractors, spent a lot of money on the rehabs, took way too long, bought it way too high. And yeah, I ended up losing $30,000.
That's crazy, dude.
So, I mean, that was a good lesson, but that taught me a lot about, having systems and having a team, a reliable team. And, just you need to check all your numbers, right? Before you don't rush into what you think is a deal. The numbers do not lie. Run your numbers 4 or 5 times before you do anything. And just don't rush it, just don't rush the process.
Yeah. Follow the money and don't buy emotionally, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. That's where I messed up. I was like, man, I just need to find something. I just need to flip something. Right. And then
Mhm.
that's how you lose money.
Yeah. And you see that a lot in this business where a lot of times, you'll get into a deal, and if you start bleeding money, it's probably best to just sell it as is rather than completing the deal. That way someone else can jump in, and, it's better to break even than to lose money, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
At the
no doubt.
time, my ego was still high. So I was like, man,
Do
I got
that,
to
man.
finish it. I got to finish this. I'm not losing money. Right. Definitely checks your ego for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's one of the things too, is like, a lot of people look for motivated sellers, and really what we want is reasonable sellers. We want sellers
Right.
that actually want to have a conversation. And sometimes you have to
Exactly.
go back and forth a few more times, follow back, check back with them, because most of the fortune is in the follow-up. It's not so much in the just getting a deal done. Because
Exactly.
it's better to not do a deal, than it is to do a bad deal. What does Warren
Exactly.
Buffett say? Never lose money, right?
Right. Rule number 2, never lose number 1.
That's
Never lose
right.
money.
Yeah. So you've done a deal, you did one bad deal, so what was your change? What was the big change you made after that then?
So I believe in systems, right? So the big change I did after that is I actually hired someone that used to work for a flipping company in California that did, thousands of flips, and they had a system, budgeting, contractors, the whole 9 yards, right? So with me hiring that person, I actually got the system of this bigger company that did a lot of flips. So that's when it was just pretty much game over. I had the systems in place. Um, Everything was it's just been smooth since then, since we've had those really strict systems. the blueprint pretty much.
Right. Right. So what do you mean systems? Like, what does that mean? I mean, because anybody that's
Like
flipping,
scope of work, budgeting, how to hire contractors,
yeah.
fire contractors, pretty much like all the systems you need to flip a house,
So do you
except
interview
finding the good deals.
contractors, or do you have like a system for interviewing contractors? Because I know like right now it's contractors are so tight, and I
It's so
know it's
tight.
tight
Yeah.
all over the country. So when you're in a bind, sometimes you just gotta roll with it, right? Because
Yeah, I mean,
like,
that's
bro,
still
if
I
you
still
got some,
struggle with
yeah,
contractors,
yeah,
but I've learned to hire really, really slow and fire really, really fast. So that's one thing you got to know. If you have someone that sucks, just fire them. I mean,
yeah.
just don't even spend the time, just fire them. Fire fast, hire slow.
So you got to pay your guys pretty good in order for them to stick around. Otherwise, they're
Exactly. And keep
juggling
them
four
busy
jobs.
too. I mean, if they know they got jobs coming, right after this one, then they don't have to stress. And that means a lot to them. Being contractors, they're always searching for the next job. So if they just have some type of security with you and you treat them right, you pay them good, then they're not going to go anywhere.
Right, right. So you got systems in place, and you're hiring somebody, and they're managing. You got a project manager. So when you're kind of starting to get short on deals, what's what's your game plan, man? What's like the 5-year plan? Are you going to start doing some buy and holds? Are you going to,
Yeah,
maybe
so
partnerships? What are you
that
doing?
was my main goal. So I knew since when I first bought my first house that you can't really get financing on anything unless you have 2 years of work history. So now that I have 2 years of work history, I am starting to buy rentals. We're refining one now for rental, and our plan is to keep one every month. So we're doing about five, 6 flips right now. We'll keep one of them, and then hopefully next month, when the next deal comes, I'll keep that one too, depending on the numbers. So our whole goal now is to buy one a month because I have stacked up that capital and the work history for my credit to be able to get financing on these rentals.
Nice, man. So what's your target profit on a rental?
So I mean, pretty much just depending on honestly, right now, if I can make over 18% ROI, then I'm good.
18%. Dang, dude, that's good.
Yeah, that is high, but I mean that's pretty much what I shoot for, right? Like,
Right,
and I
because
come
you're buying
across
these off
deals all the
market, so you're
time.
getting them at a good enough price that you can get close to
Exactly.
1% on rents based off what you
Right.
bought it for.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So like what we target for, just so that we can keep them moving, is we want to profit anywhere between $300 to $500 a month per rental unit.
Per rental, that's good.
Yeah.
Right.
So then
Yeah.
that way, and one of the mistakes that real estate investors make is they always forget about taxes because
Right.
that dang taxes sneak up on you, and you're like, dang, that's all my profit for the whole year, you
A
know?
whole year.
So
Yeah.
you got to make sure you're doing the math, not only what you bought it for, plus insurance, plus taxes
Plus taxes.
equals your gross expense. So then you
Right.
have to make sure that your rent covers all of that stuff. And that was one of
Hmm.
the mistakes that we made in the beginning, was we kept forgetting about taxes. We're like, oh man, we're making really good rent
Right.
on this thing. And then all of a sudden tax time rolls around and you got to pay taxes on 28 properties. And you're like, oh my Lord,
And
you
that's a
know,
lot of properties.
it is, man. It's a lot of money going to the IR and the S, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Right.
So yeah, but the thing too is, like, as a real estate investor, if you're doing it full time, and most of the real estate agents watching this or listening to this program should be doing real estate full time. And the benefits of that is then you have unlimited write-offs. So you can write off all of your income, some of your income, you get to choose how you want to decide how much you want to actually make on paper. Um,
Exactly.
so that's great. I mean, so so you got a team, you're evaluating your deals, you've kind of come to your own now. You've kind of you got this dialed in now. So this is really something that you're seeing that there's wealth to be built here. And so,
Absolutely.
so now from a scaling standpoint, how are you going to do more deals and work less?
So I like partnerships. I like, working with other people's experiences too. So I go by, so now I'm using other people's money, OPM. So I don't even use any of my own money, right? I'm using OPS, which is other people's systems, right? And with partnerships, I also use OPE, other people's experiences. So I combine all those together. At the end of the day, I'm pretty much, not working. Well, I do. I'm still finding deals every day, looking at deals every day. But to scale, I'm using other people, right? Like I'm using other people, partnerships, the whole 9 yards, other people's money. So um, that's how I plan on scaling, is using other people, pretty much, and just working with partnerships. And that's how pretty much you scale. You can't do everything yourself. So it's
So if
easy to
you're an
scale when you got a
experienced
team.
investor, or if you're an accredited investor, or if you have,
Right,
let's say you got 100,000 in the bank, these are the kind of people you
right,
want to talk to, right?
right,
So, because the thing about the investing game is really what it comes down to is finding the deals. Most
right, right.
investors
If you
are
can,
not good at finding deals.
they suck at it, right? Like they don't know, they might have $1 million, right? I got people coming to me like, hey, I got $1 million. Can you put it to work? They have a ton of money. They don't know how to find deals though, right? So it's like they're giving me $1 million. And I'm like, holy cow, like, what do I even do with this? Right?
Right?
Like it's wild because it is very hard to find deals. It's a grind, super grind.
And it takes more work. I did door-to-door sales for over a year, and I know exactly what it takes to find the deals. Like I would knock on 100 doors a day, and then to get one deal, or not even a deal. Sometimes it was just get one conversation, and sometimes that conversation wouldn't
Right.
turn into a deal. So it's a numbers game. It's like you gotta, if you know the math equation, like, okay, well, how much effort does it take to get the result? And
Right.
if you've never read the book The 10x Rule by Grant Cardone and understand like the the success of massive action, then you need to read that book because, you know, and you and I, dude, we're Grant Cardonians. You know what I
That's
mean?
where I met you in
Yes,
Vegas,
sir. Yes,
10X
sir.
Growth Con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was cool because I've put so many of those practices into play with my business
Right. Right.
that we've seen massive success, and we're just continuing to grow on that. And that's kind of where the
Right.
30% was built out of. And so coming soon to a bookstore near you, the 33% Effect book will be out hopefully by the end of this year. So that's going to be a fun ride. I'm
I'm
not a
excited
writer,
for it.
so it's pretty crazy. Well, cool, man. So tell me, if somebody wants to invest with you, like what are you looking for in an investor?
Um, I definitely look for people that don't have, ego issues, right? Like they want to like listen. I think now it's hard for me there's not very much people that listen to me because I'm so young. So a lot of these, older investors, they don't really trust a younger generation. They think, that I don't know what I'm doing, whatever, right? So there is a lot of those people that that don't like to see I don't know, younger people doing better than them. So the people that I want to work with are people that would trust the systems that I put in place because I know it works. I've dialed it in, um, and I don't know, man. I'm not honestly like at the moment. I'm not really looking for investors right now because I do have so much on my plate, and I already do have a lot of investors that's came to me. Um, but I am looking for new partnerships all the time. So I would consider doing a partnership if you can provide me value, if you can teach me something that I don't know with the real estate, lease options, whatever, right? Like if you can provide those, I don't really understand them. Like I've studied into them. I don't really like them, but I mean, there's a lot of money to be made in it if you're a pro at it, right? So, I mean, I would consider new investors if they can provide me value, right? That's pretty much the only way I'd take investors in now. Is so where we can teach off,
So with
teach
those
each other
creative
something.
financing deals, there's a lot less OPM. And so
Right.
it's just you have to be able to be creative. And I have done those creative deals, and they're nice because they cash
They
flow
are nice.
way more than,
Right.
you
See,
know.
and I don't know how to do that. So someone came to me and was like, Adrian, I got this lease option deal, making will cash flow this much, whatever. I'm game. Like you teach me something and then I'll teach you something. I'll teach you this flipping stuff or whatever, right? If you teach me how to do commercials, right? Cool. Like teach me that and I'll teach you this. Like let's do something together. Let's feed off each other, right? Let's let like help each other grow. Like I don't want to just it's hard for me to teach someone everything they know or everything I know, and then they don't like give me nothing in return,
Sure.
right? Like I'm not growing.
Dude, we
It's
see
just
that all
very
the time.
hard.
Everybody wants something for free. But what I found over the years is that when someone pays for something, they find better value in that because now they're paying attention. So
Exactly. Hmm.
you need to pay attention. And that's kind of the what I've learned over the years is that if you want true value out of something, then you have to pay for someone's time in order for them to give it to you. So
Exactly.
so Adrian we haven't officially said this. We're gonna say it now, but Adrian and I are gonna be working on a real estate investing course. And we're gonna
Yes.
build that out here probably, hopefully by the end of 2021. We're gonna build
Right.
that out and have that available for folks, and it's gonna be at a price that makes sense, so
Right.
that you guys can learn how to do this stuff. And so
We'll have
that's pretty
everything there, all the
exciting.
systems, everything, all the
We're
systems
gonna
will be
break
in
it down
there.
for you guys.
Break it
Like
down.
where to get the data, who to call, where to spend most of your time, how to evaluate deals, all those things. We're gonna put that out there hopefully, and so that'll be a lot of fun, dude.
Super fun. I can't wait to learn from the best for sure. You got 28 doors. I'm trying to get there. 28 houses, JB. How'd you get there?
Dude,
28 houses. That's a lot of houses, dude.
here's the deal. Like the thing about it is and I got commercial as part of that portfolio too. So,
Right.
but really, I would say the biggest thing with that is making the right partnerships with banks,
Mm,
because they give you
absolutely.
the best creative ways of putting deals together. And once you
Absolutely.
create confidence in the right bank, then they're willing to invest in you. And so that's really the biggest part of it. And what's even funnier is I did all of that without any hard money or private. Well, I did a little bit of private money, but it was family mainly. Um, but I didn't have to have like exorbitant amounts of interest to pay on any of it. So
That's awesome.
yeah, man. So all right. Well, if
You got to
anybody
teach me
wants to
how to do
reach out,
that.
yeah. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, hit you up, where can they find you?
So I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram, I am acruzwyo. On Facebook, my name is Adrian Cruz, so you can find me on there too.
Yeah, and it's just like how it's spelt just like how it sounds.
Yep.
CRUZ.
CRUZ.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much for spending your time today, dude. Do you want people to DM you, or do you want them to,
Yeah, man.
I have an email
I
address?
am still willing to help some people out, right? Like I'm doing a lot of JV deals for the new investors. I'll help you out if you give me, we'll go half on half on your first deal. If you come to me with a good deal, or if you don't know where to get started, I am doing JV deals. I provide mentorship. So if you don't know how to do it, I'll show you how to do it, and then we'll JV a deal and we'll cut the profits in half.
Sweet, dude. That's exciting.
For a wholesale deal, not flips, wholesale.
Yeah. Wholesale deals.
Yeah, wholesale deals. Yep, I'll teach you how to do wholesaling.
Sweet, dude. Well, thank you so much. I know you're a busy guy these days, CEO in your own investment company and all, all these things, man. And if you're in Cheyenne and you see that really cool car that drives around town, honk at him.
Yes.
All right, man. Thanks for spending the time this morning. You have a good day.
Yes, sir. Have a good day, JP.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.